beautiful sight to behold. It's pretty exciting to the enrollment of a bill that has passed the House of Representatives and the Senate, and now will go over to the Senate to be signed by the Vice President of the United States or his designee. But it's my honor to sign this, Speaker of the House. But I sign it in honor of our conferees. They did a spectacular job. Our Chair of the Appropriations Committee, Nina Lowy, the Chair of the Homeland Security Subcommittee of Appropriations, Lucille Roybal-Allard, Henry Cuellar from Texas, the Rio Grande Valley, Pete Aguilar from California, all members of the committee, Barbara Lee, leadership member of the conferees, David Price. I'm not sure David's had quite a day because he had to go to North Carolina earlier today, but he was a former top Democrat on the Homeland Security Committee and was a very strong force for doing the right thing. Anyway, Stanley and Mr. Kleiber and I are appropriators, so we have confidence in the appropriators, as I've said over and over, left to their own devices, working in a bipartisan way and a bicameral way. They can come up with a compromise that is acceptable and that is bipartisan, as I say, that we can all support. 300 votes on the floor of the House. It was quite a remarkable show. And I just, for my own part, want to say that I thank our conferees for having us honor our oath of office to protect our country by securing our border and protecting our values. And where we go from here will be for us all to honor the Constitution, especially Article 1, especially the system of checks and balances. We will not have an end run around the Congress of the United States. With that, I am delighted to use many pens. I guess that's what's in front of me. Yeah. Okay. Hey, Mr. Kleiber, Mr. Hoyer, some comments?
Ready?
Comments?
You're getting the chair
Of
of the committee and the subcommittee.
Madam Chair, President, Madam Chair, leadership, member of the committee. Did you want to say something, Albert?
Well, I'm very pleased that we're at this point in time so much. But we ought to remind ourselves this is last year's work, and it didn't get done. But I want to congratulate the chair of the full committee and the chair of the subcommittee and the conferees for getting this work done. My objective will be, and I've talked to Chairwoman Lowy about this, my objective will be as the majority leader to make every effort to get our appropriation bills done in a timely fashion so that we do not confront, again, the threat of or the actual shutdown of the government of the United States. That is not a policy that ought to be repeated, and we will certainly try not to do that. But congratulations to the committee and to the conferees, and very frankly to the Republican and Democratic conferees who all stood on the floor and supported the passage of this, knowing that we needed to get our work done.
Assistant Speaker, Mr. Ben-Ray Lujan.
I certainly associate myself with the comments you just heard from our leader, and I want to add my congratulations to you, Nina. Thank you so much for this, and my classmate, Lucille. I was so proud of her. I went to her on the floor tonight just to hug her and to say how much I appreciate the work we did on this. You know, this afternoon, I spent a lot of time on the phone with a lot of people. And as the leader said, I had a few telephone conversations with the minority whip, Mrs. Scalise, and we were bargaining for 70 votes. And we came up with, 85?
87.
87. So we thank them as well for making this a real, genuine bipartisan effort. That's what the country wants from us. Work together, get the people's work done. And I want to thank these conferees for the work they did, creating an atmosphere that in which people get the people's work done.
Thank you. Mr. Rosenheim?
Just again, simply the effort of our conferees, the guidance of our speaker, and the work of what was absolutely needed to ensure that this could get done. As Mr. Clyburn and Mr. Hoyer clearly laid out, the importance of the bipartisan work to get everything done for the good of the country. Also looking at important modern investments when it comes to border security, but the work of the conferees also built upon the humanitarian responsibilities that we have to make a difference with these important critical infrastructure investments across the country. So again, Nita, Lucille, our two chairs, but of course the work of Pete and Henry and Barbara and David, I couldn't thank enough.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Well, I just want to add to what my colleague said, because at a time like this, where public political discourse has been so crude, I was so proud as the chair of this committee, working with outstanding conferees, to be able to work in a bipartisan way and really accomplish our goals, serve the people of the United States. So let's hope, because I'm always an optimist, that we can continue this tone, because we have a lot of work to do. As we complete this bill, we have to begin on 2020, where we have 12 new bills that we have to work on. And I really do hope that we can work together in a civil way, accomplish our goals, and serve the people of the United States of America. That's the way this process should work.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair, for chairing the joint bicameral conference in such a distinguished and effective way. Congresswoman Moylan Allen? Let's just hear from Lucille.
No, I think this is an example of how we can all come together and work as a team. And I was very, very fortunate to have conferees that were committed to making sure that this whole process was one in which we could be proud of. They were totally committed. We worked together, and we had as our focus to make sure that the security of our nation was a priority, coupled with the fact that we had to make sure that it also represented our American values. And we were able to do that in a bipartisan way, in a way that respected the differences of opinion, not only within our own Democratic caucus, but also our Republican counterparts. And because we work in this bipartisan way, respecting each other, with the same focus of getting something done to make sure the government was not shut down, but that our product was one that we could all feel good about. This is the result, and I can't say enough about the conferees. They were absolutely incredible. And in the end, when we reached about as far as we could go, the four corners met, and it was Nita who hit that home run, then won the game.
Thank you very much, Cecile. Before I yield to our distinguished member of the leadership, who was a conferee, Congressman Barbara Lee, I want to acknowledge that we're joined by Congressman Steve Cohen of Tennessee and Congressman Paul Tonko of New York. Thank you for helping us in our effort. Yield to Congresswoman Barbara Lee. Thank you for your leadership.
Thank you very much, and I first have to thank you, Speaker, for putting together such a great
I did.
First of all. Putting together such a great team. And congratulate Chairwoman Lowy and Roy Allen for your tremendous leadership and your attention to all of the members of the Democratic caucus and working in a bipartisan way. These leaders champion the views and the ideas and the input of our entire caucus. And so that is quite a testament, I think, to their leadership, but also to the diversity of our caucus and to the willingness to make sure that all of our voices were heard for the people. So I just have to thank you once again, and it was an honor to serve as the leadership representative on this conference committee and say we have a lot more to do, but we came a long way, and we did that because of how you work collaboratively in a bipartisan way with all of our caucus to make sure that all of the views were championed and fought.
Thank you, Barbara. Mr. Cuellar?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you again for your leadership, for putting this very diverse but very united conferee committee together. And we want to thank you, and of course, Steny and Mr. Clyburn and the other folks that worked so hard to make sure that we all got over, I think, 300 votes today. It was a strong bipartisan vote. You know, what we did in this committee was very simple. It was a matter of how do you see the border. Unfortunately, there are some people that see the border as a crisis, as a place that's out of control. But if you, for us to live on the border, for us to have been and spend a lot of time on the border, we see the border as opportunity and community. A place where we see trade, a place where we see tourism, where we want to raise our families and send our kids to school and start our businesses. That's the two visions that we saw certainly from the president and the opposite that we saw. From there, we were able to put those visions together and find a balance. We don't believe in open borders. We want to see smart border security, not a 14th century wall that the president believes in, but we want to find the balance between security and legitimate trade and tourism. And this is what the committee was able to do. By getting together, we were able to find that balance. And people have asked me, who won on this one? You know what we did? The American public won on this one. So thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Cuellar?
I just wanted to thank.
Excuse me.
Oh,
Mr.
that's my twin.
Aguilar.
I can yield
Pete
back.
Aguilar, California.
If you give Henry more time, he will use it. That's what we've learned. That's what we've learned in this conference committee. Thank you so much, Speaker. Thank you. And the press lab. Thank you so much, Speaker. They understand. Thank you, Speaker, for placing me on this. It's such a distinguished group, and I was just honored to learn from Chair Lowy and Chair Robel-Aller throughout this process. This was a collaborative process. For those asking questions about how we worked well together. We had each other's backs because we knew we were fighting for the values of our caucus, the values of the American people, securing our borders, honoring our values, and ensuring that we avoided a shutdown, another senseless shutdown. So that was our North Star moving through this process, and I was just honored to be on the team. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, we also had 6 other bills, and we were very proud of the work that our other chairs of subcommittees did. Many of them spoke on the floor during the debate, but so it was a major accomplishment. 6 bills that dealt with other departments of government, and then the one that got most attention, Homeland Security. So thank you to all of you for protecting our borders, honoring our values, keeping government open, and strengthening the institution in which we serve, the Congress of the United States. So thank all of you. Happy Valentine's Day. We saluted our victory, or the victory for the American people, earlier with chocolate. Chocolate from California. I call it the champagne of chocolate. And so, again, I wish you all happy Thanksgiving. Keep on
Madam Speaker, what's your message for getting other bills done in a bipartisan fashion, the rest of the Congress? Had this bill gone south, that might have been it for the Congress.
Chad, you're always saying, had this bill. It didn't go south. Good night, God bless you, pleasant dreams.
What's your message?
$8 billion in other parts of money. What is your response to that amount?